don't know if I'm talking to myself right now or if the video is recording, but I was saying that if you're evoking or invoking energy demons, possibly you're a beginner, you're interested in sigil work, you want to know how energy comes through, if you need help with money, paying a bill, your kids want some Christmas or holiday, Hanukkah presents, and you have children in the house or a little girl in the house, I really suggest you just don't do it in the house and you do this away from any kid or any child, because children are more children are far more sensitive to energy. Therefore, they pick up and they absorb. Look, anyone who's a professional in their field will know that they will not do something that is heavy or intense in the house where there's children, because children absorb energy. Children absorb intent, and that daemon or energy will stick itself to the child more than you and alter the child's life and perception and luck and fortune and destiny, psychologically and emotionally. Unless you're like my sister and that's what you want. And my mom growing up, because since I was like 2 or 3 years old, my sister would force me to watch Freddy Krueger and Children of the Corn. And I remember she would tie me on a chair so that I couldn't move, and my mom would think it's the funniest thing ever. I don't know if they were... And literally, like, my sister would be, like, talking in, like, a possessed voice and be like, "You're gonna be sacrificed tonight. This is what you're gonna turn into." And then she'd make me watch back-to-back all these horror movies and make me, like, put me right in front of the television, leave me by myself in the dark. The Exorcist, The Poltergeist, like, all these fucking horrifying movies when I was a little girl to psychologically fuck me over. And literally I couldn't move because I was tied on the chair, and I would cry to my mom and be like, "Why are you guys doing this to me?" And they would laugh. So I mean, it's a question of is it possible that they were possessed? Absolutely. But it's also like, it was funny. So remember, my family, they're narcissists, and you know, it's abuse. It was abuse. But I'm telling you, my sister, after she got married, she couldn't get pregnant for years. She went through so many... She finally reached that conclusion where she used to deny it a lot to people, but everybody knew that she was like heavily into like all this stuff, and she used to play with Ouija boards and keep it under her bed without touching it for like 7 years, and all the energy and the spirits would come to me because I was really little, you know, because I've always been the black sheep and the empath in the family, to break the patterns and get the fuck out of there, you know. But she couldn't get pregnant for years, and it wasn't until she would beg me for forgiveness because she came to that realization that perhaps it's because of all that damage that she did to me. And I remember I would tell her, "Whatever you did to me, you're going to get pregnant, but whatever you did to me, your kid is going to do the same thing to you." And I'm telling you, for 7 years, her son, who was the same sun sign as me, because I said you're going to have a Taurus child because she hated Tauruses. And she had a second child, which is a girl. And I just want a little girl. I just want a little girl. Both her kids, she had them because I literally blessed her to have those kids. Before, she couldn't have kids. And she knows this. She may deny it. I don't know. I don't care. I don't talk to her because she's just not normal, in a sense where normal human beings feel remorse, guilt, shame. They feel protective of their own sibling. You know, I was growing up as a child. She would tell people, "Oh, I raised her," but she would abandon me at malls where the security would have to look for her through microphones in the entire like commercial places. She would abandon me for hours. They'd ask her for a name. "Where is this little girl? Why is this girl alone?" Security would find, you know, and she would show up and blame it on me so she doesn't get charged. Hours and days without eating. And it's like, this shit sounds like it's stuff in the movies, but it was real. So I just don't suggest people to be doing things that they don't quite understand or that they desire in the house where there's children involved. At the very least, go outside, go to another place. Maybe don't really invoke or work with sigils that you're not quite understanding. Obviously, everything can be also intentions too, right? But you just want to make sure your environment, everything is safe, because my sister did pay a lot for what she did. And I don't even believe in karma, because I've seen some people get away with some heavy shit in life, but she never really got away with anything, I'll tell you that. No. Another disturbing thing was like that one of that construction guys that was here that did my washroom last March, February, March. I had cleaned out my entire house so that there's less things for him to focus on, or, because there's going to be dust everywhere, cutting up tile, stone, all this, because he was supposed to paint, and which I didn't end up redoing this paint. I'm only going to paint when I decide to rent out or sell this apartment. I have the paint, I'm just going to leave it. I have a dog, he's going to chew on the walls, he's been doing it. There's no point. And he was going to do the floors. So because he proved to me that he was an incompetent asshole with fucked up intentions, taking off his dirty ass working pants and putting it on my bed, and bringing an Azeri guy who he never mentioned to me he was going to bring someone else, and they're taking a month to do the washroom. I came in, right? And I decided to open up my drawer. I don't have anything in there except maybe a few things. And I had that picture that I always post up and I share it on social media of me when I was 6 years old, when I was in Armenian school. And a lot of things had happened to me that year and prior to that year. And everyone who would see that picture, or when I was that age, they used to be like obsessed with my eyes because I looked like an old soul, or they were like, you look like you have so much power at that age. I noticed, I opened it and I saw that. And that photo, when I had placed it in the drawer, I had it covered with its, it's in a black, paper frame, and it was covered, and I noticed there was dust all over it. So this jackass, he had turned it around, and his hand was all dust, his pants were all dust, his working pants, it's the same dust. I got a client. So I knew he was touching my photo and staring at my photo from when I was 6 years old. And I'm like, ew, what is he doing, jerking off to my photo? You never know, right? So I remember every single time I would just drop in, or he would contact me and call me to come, but majority of the time I would just drop in. Through my pants, I wasn't wearing any tight from what I remember. I usually wear long shirts, especially in the winter, or sweaters or something. Every single time I would come into my home, he'd be looking straight at my crotch. And I would just kind of look at my fucking face. You know what I'm saying? You and your dirty pants. So I remember I made a scene and I told his son, don't bring this shit into my house ever again. This is embarrassing. This is so disrespectful. And, there was way more to it, but I remember in order to cover himself up, he kept telling his son, who I knew his son, that, Tella, she talks a lot, and so I'm distracted. And so I was like, if you guys want to label me, I said, don't you know your fucking father? I said, don't you know how much your father talks? He's your father, you should know. And he's like, you're right, you're absolutely right. And he's like, I'm so sorry, I apologize on behalf of my father. And I said, if you guys want to label me as someone who talks a lot, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking talk now. And I kept complaining. Yeah, your father and his Azeri friends say it's perfectly fine to disrespect a woman in her home who's paying them to do construction work that should be done within a week. Who the fuck is the second guy that I never approved of, let alone he's an Azeri? Third, they fucking talk shit about their own wives and hate women. And they do it in my house. They take off their dirty ass pants. They don't even work all day and throw it on my bed. And I'm not gonna fucking talk. Like, if you're gonna treat a woman like she's a whore or her house is a whorehouse, you gotta pay to get in. You don't expect payment from her. So I said, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. And that's what I've been doing ever since. I'm fucking talking. But I have every right to be talking. It's my goddamn house. So I want to say that, yeah, they're assholes. It's been documented in Gyumri that when they see a single woman or even a grandmother that's alone, they try this shit on them, right? We said that. Yes, it's in my videos in the summer. Yes, we went to the police stations. Yes, as a psychologist, which is what I am, we went there and we had documents and surveys shown to me. Right, they're assholes. We know that. But this can also follow someone all their life from going back to that childhood. Because remember, that photo is all connected. So if you care about your children, don't do this stuff around them, because spirits are always around, you know, and that's it. And I constantly have to deal with not ever wanting to be in a relationship, because I'm just so independent, but I'm also just so pulled away from wanting to be. You know, I think this shit is a huge turnoff. It's not fun to me. It's power play. It's turnoff. It's disgusting. It pulls me away from people even more. I'm content in a sense that I've been raised, unfortunately, certain things were out of my control. But you know what? You do what you do, and everything leads you back to what you're supposed to be doing in life. And every day I make the best of it, and I move forward with all this power that I allow to work with me, not against me. And I have that power to say that, yes, I have this. It's mine. It belongs to me. And if I don't like something, I get rid of it. I throw it out. And so energy is this way too. You see something you don't like, you've welcomed something into your home you don't like, you get that shit out. The minute you sense it, the minute you see it. And I'll leave this video at this today. Thank you for watching.